Turn it up, it's the pancake and power slam. Turn it up, it's the pancake and power slam. Turn it up, it's the pancake and power slam show. Turn it up, it's the pancake and power slam. Turn it up, it's the pancake and power slam. Turn it up, it's the pancake and power slam show. Turn it up.
What is up, everybody? This is Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of the Pancakes and Power Slam show, baby. We're almost at 700 episodes, y'all. Like, it just crept up on me. Almost at 700. I think we've got like 15, 16 more shows or something like that. That's like 4 months. So by the time the fall comes, end of summer, early fall, we'll be having to do something for 700 episodes, man. That's fantastic. 700 episodes of the Pancakes and Power Slam show. Power Slam show. Whoa. Yeah. Let me give you a little something. We doing this. Here we go. Almost at 700 hits. Almost 700 episodes. Come on in, take a seat, and share the link if we Come on in, y'all. Yeah. Come on in, y'all. Yeah. Come on in, y'all. Yeah. There you go. Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Dr. Chris Featherstone, and that's what we're doing here at this episode of the Pancakes and Power Sim Show. That's what we're doing. Okay, we're going to auto-tune it at the beginning of the show as you share the link and people come on in and take a seat. Hey, man, take a seat. You see those open seats in the second row of the classroom? Go ahead and take them, man. They're yours for the taking. So go ahead and sit there. Bring out your notepad. Go ahead and comment on the comment section like you always do. And yeah, man, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be lots of fun, man. Really, really, really looking forward to it. And it's gonna be a great class, just like we do. We're going to talk about the psychology and the psychological effects of body shaming, man. A very unfortunate thing that happens in the realm of society, in the realm of the workplace. And we're going to talk about the workplace specifically based on a Cora Jade tweet that talked about how she was body shamed. So come on in, y'all. Let's do this. I'm gonna actually say the tweet, man. The body shaming tweet. It's very, very unfortunate. So yeah, come on in, y'all. Let's do it. Share the link. Let everybody know about this here. Ijzendoorn also was involved in this. Cora Jade was actually responding to that. So get your comments ready. Hashtag AskDoc is the way to go. So come on and do that as we talk about body shaming. All right. So basically there was this was a few weeks ago. Unfortunately, there were a lot of people released. Cora Jade and Ijzendoorn was two of them. And there was a report saying that some of the released talent were perceived as not putting in enough effort during training. He said many of those, Meltzer actually said, many of those cut were perceived as not working hard in training. If the feeling is you're not working hard, I've seen the term lazy used, then you're likely to be let go. Ijzendoorn wasn't a fan of this, and she said, when I wasn't traveling for either of the two companies I work for, I trained 3 to 4 days a week, bumping, doing cardio drills with one of the toughest coaches I've ever had. I worked out every day, did live events every other weekend. So yeah, I don't want to hear this, LOL. The way my body feels says otherwise. Cora Jade said this. Plus, can't forget having to go to my own gym after strength and conditioning that wasn't doing anything for me other than me getting body shamed by my bosses, coworkers, and fans. Crazy. So, unfortunately, that goes to show Cora Jade being public about getting body shamed by her colleagues. And that's a very unfortunate occurrence. And so let's talk about body shaming, and let's get this class in session, if you will. So body shaming is viewed as, there's so many different definitions in terms of body shaming. It's really a nebulous in many ways, we understand the kind of backdrop and the over type of arching definition or the overarching concept of body shaming. But I'm going to break down here in just a minute how body shaming can be so vastly viewed differently. But overall, body shaming is viewed as it's a deliberate humiliating of an individual by making mocking or defamatory comments about their body shape or size. So it's also deemed as a form of bullying. What's up, chat? I see some people saying what's up to me. What's up, y'all? Appreciate, as always, y'all coming through, man. You're awesome. The best chat room in the business belongs to the Pancakes and Power Slam show. It is deemed as a form of bullying in many spaces, very unacceptable in the workplace. And in many ways, people even constitute this as discrimination, which of course is illegal. Now, in contrast to fat shaming, now fat shaming is a mockery or criticism about someone judged to be fat or overweight. The difference between fat shaming and body shaming, now it's all under the shaming, the weight shaming, body shaming, skinny shaming. We'll talk about that. It's just the shaping type of overarching shaping, criticism, unhealthy criticism. Now, body shaming versus fat shaming is, when it's fat shaming, it's criticizing unhealthily someone's body, overweight, viewed as fat and things like that. But body shaming, though, it's not just critiquing someone who's deemed as fat or overweight. There's so many different variations of body shaming. Body shaming can be something as far as like a skinny shaming type of standpoint, where someone who's smaller told by someone like, you need to put some muscle on, man. You need to put some muscle on you, man. You look bony, man. Your legs look weak. Like you look noodly. Like those are body shaming things, and that's not even with someone who's overweight. There's even been studies to show of people shaming people who are gym goers, like avid gym goers, like talking about their muscle and shaming their muscle. And so no one's off the hook when it comes to body shaming. No one is off the hook when it comes to that. It's just a unhealthy critique overall. And it just goes to show the insecurity comes with the critiquers about the ones who are critiquing. Many studies show when it comes to the people who critique, those people oftentimes are people dealing with their own low self-esteem, low self-worth, low levels of security. So therefore, they shame other people. And it's also a power dynamic as well, oftentimes when it comes to the workplace. And definitely seems like definitely seems like a lot of people from a workplace, when it comes to that male-female dynamic, and we'll get into that more as well, it's a power dynamic. But at the end of the day, again, it's still, even with the power dynamic issue, it's still a form of insecurity. It's just someone who's not secure in themselves. They don't feel like they're really worthy of themselves enough. So what they do is they use that as a power move, especially if it's around a lot of people. They use it as a power move against someone of the opposite sex, usually a female. And so it's really unfortunate piece there. Here's the thing, though. I do want to make this very clear when it comes to body shaming. We'll get to more nuances, and we'll break down body shaming much more here in just a moment. But I do want to throw this out there just briefly. So body shaming is a very unhealthy, malicious, harming, intentionally damaging. Like those components are very true and very important when we're thinking about body shaming. However, body critiquing is not the same necessarily as body shaming, though. And so, there are people who can say, okay, just because someone told me that looks like you're picking up a few pounds, they throw the body shaming tag on there. And it's like, hold on a second. That's not shaming, especially from a standpoint of like a good friend, right? So like if someone's, again, motive, when you think about intention, I tell people motive matters when it comes to having that type of critique versus shaming. Because if someone is a really, really close friend and they're like, hey man, hey, bro, we need to hit the gym because, I see that you're gaining a few, man. I'm with you. I got your back. I'm with you. Me and you are cool, man. I might even be picking up a few myself. Let's do this together. You got a lot on your mind. There's been cases, and I've seen it, man. That type of accountability can actually help someone get out of their depressive state, can help people get out of a rut who's really going through a lot, who doesn't really prioritize their health anymore because they're going through a divorce or going through a really rough patch in their marriage or really are going through some type of bad relationship, whether, emotionally abusive, physically abusive, unfortunately, even verbally abusive relationship. And they aren't prioritizing fitness first. And so what happens is you can have someone be accountable to them and be honest, and you can't categorize that as body shaming. That's someone who loves you enough to tell you the truth. So you have, like, it's really, really important when it comes to these type of topics that we don't do the pendulum effect and we don't swing all the way to the other end as well and say, just because someone told me that I need to drop a few pounds because it seems like there's a lot on my mind and I'm not getting to the point of focusing as much as my fitness I used to, we can't categorize that as body shaming either. Motive matters because I'm giving a healthy and constructive critique about that. It actually can be very, very beneficial. If I don't address it under the fear that I'm shaming you, and I know that my intentions are pure, that's something that we have to. It's really a fine line when it comes to that too, because someone else, like other people, can say, "Hey, man, I see that you're picking up some pounds, man. How you feeling? Those meals must be good lately." And that's the thing, man. That's the really, really important part of understanding what's your motive. What's your motive, man? Do you just want to throw this out there just to see how the group responds to it or how the person responds to it, or just to try to get that reaction, just to try to troll? And there's actually research that shows that there's affiliation between trolling and body shaming as well. So, I mean, people can just do it just to troll, man. And it's like, a lot of research show that loneliness is a root of trolling. And so, as well as feeling insecure about oneself. So there's just all kinds of things that people can be thinking about when they're just quick to shame someone. But at the same time, it's important for us not to get to the point of, okay, that's shaming because you're just holding someone accountable. So we got to be honest with ourselves, and we also have to be honest with our intentions too. That's a really, really important factor in all this. We got to be very, very honest with ourselves so we can be honest with other people about our intentions when it comes to that. Maybe someone was beating you in a fitness competition and they went off and you just want to be malicious. And you're like, see, yep, you fell off. How is that healthy? How is that healthy? Like that's not really a healthy intention that comes with that. So we got to be honest with ourselves. Here's the thing when it comes to shaming, though, especially like I said, when it comes to the initial uh, uh, the initial impact of someone being told something about their weight and their body in a critical way, from an unhealthy critical way, not from a destructive destructively critical way instead of a constructive critical way. It can have immediate feel like a punch in the gut effects. Like it can have immediate effects. It can really disorient someone's thought process. Like if you realize, like for instance, if someone realized that they were in a state of depression and they really are trying to get out of it, and they got to the point where they started, they made the decision, okay, man, I'm about to get up, I'm about to do this, I got this, I'm about to get to the point where I'm going to change and start working out. But then on day 8, someone sees them who's had a vacation, for a couple of weeks, or someone who hasn't seen them in a while, like, man, you picked up some weight, bruh. Man, the impact that can have on someone could be very, very lasting, and it can spiral them right back down, man. If someone was getting out of the rut and saying, all right, I got this, it's like hearing that, boom. Now, here's the thing when it comes to that too. For the individual who feels disoriented, who has the decreased self-esteem that starts to spiral because of that, and victims starting, those who hear it, they start to view themselves from the lens, from the distorted lens of the person who calls them that. Here's the issue with that, though. This is very, very true, and this is very, very unfortunate. However, it is really important for someone to do self-work, to work on their self-confidence, to get in therapy, to really handle their mental health and increase the levels of their mental health, so that if someone were to say something like that, they don't have to spiral down. They can go through therapy and really process this thing very, very importantly. So that's really important too. I think it's important not to miss that at all, because at the end of the day, if and again, it's very common to spiral down when someone's in that rut, in that state, or if someone respects someone, if someone hears that from a trusted colleague, that all of a sudden you hear stuff like that in the workplace, like, yeah, them hips are getting bigger. You've had, I see that you've had a procedure. Looks like you really wanted that, stuff like that. Like, you can hear that in the workplace, and it could be really, really demoralizing. It can be really, really impactful to someone, especially, and this is also a component of this as well, because this has been shown this has been shown in the workplace environment, that a lot of people, they get to the point of experiencing what's called social withdrawal because of fear of having the ability to be harmed again from another, being embarrassed in front of a group of people in the workplace. So they grow a distance. They grow a sense of distance and distinction from crucial relationships. Hearing that stuff at work and saying, okay, especially if people start to chuckle, if people start to grin, if people start to look at someone different way, man, that can really have a lot of lasting effects. Even in therapy, even someone's going through therapy, it's that group, man. A lot of people bring in that mob style mentality. And I've told you before, when it comes to dehumanization and de-individualization, it can be dehumanizing to someone if they are super critical about someone's body in a very unhealthy way. However, they can filter it or they can hold it to themselves. But if there's a group of people at work, and when it comes to that de-individualization, it gets to the point where, okay, there's people around now, so my filters are decreasing. So now I'm going to be more prone to say it because I'm not really caring about the filters too much. I'm more concerned about getting the pop, so to speak, getting the laughter, getting the adulation of the day of, man, that was a good one. I'm getting more of a very unhealthy high from that instead of the very fact that, oh man, I probably should pull that person aside and be like, you good? You know, how you feeling? How you feeling? How are things going? How's the family? How's the marriage? How's your life going? How's your goals? I know that you mentioned that you wanted to, a few months ago that you had some fitness goals. Where you at with that? How are things going? How can I help? Do you want me to be motivated to you? And in every single way, you have told that person, how's the weight stuff coming? How's the fitness stuff coming? And you told them in a way that's more palatable. Now, hey, there's relationships. Again, like I said, there's friend-to-friend relationships where people are much more advantageous of saying, hey, bro, like you getting big out in these streets, man. Like that could be advantageous to friends who are really close to each other. But it probably would be less beneficial to saying that to someone at work in front of a group of people, knowing that, like I said before, that immediate impact, you become disoriented because you hear that and then you hear people laugh about it. And then that gives you to like, oh man, like, what do I do? What do I do in this space? This is a very awkward space that someone's telling me about my weight, that someone's basically saying that I've gotten fat, or someone is talking about how fat I am, or how skinny I am, or even how muscular I am. Like stuff like that. Is like if you're getting the adulation, if you're getting the reaction from the coworkers of laughing, the person who received the information, who the butt of the joke, basically, that person doesn't know what to do in that space oftentimes. Now, if someone's witty, they'll do a comeback, or if someone wants to process it first and in that space doesn't get too rattled, they can say something like, bro, what? Come on, man. You should have told me that in private, man. You just trying to get a laugh from these coworkers. That was wrong with you. You loud and wrong from that, bro. You wrong from that. You wrong for that. You wrong for that. You just trying to get a laugh from these coworkers, man. That's something that you should have told me in private, because that's something that I'm interested that you would care enough to say something like me to me. But at the same time, man, now I'm questioning your motives, because I'm thinking in my head, like, is this person just trying to get a rise today in front of the coworkers, or this person really actually cares about my status spiritually, mentally, physically, financially? This person cares about my status. But if you're just trying to get a rise, man, you picked the wrong person to do that for, because you can just sit your butt down somewhere and don't ever have to talk to me again. Don't ask me that stupid question like that again if you don't want, to actually have a genuine answer from me, because it didn't seem like you were looking for that anyways. If someone isn't witty like that, if someone doesn't have that type of wit, which is most people in that space, because people are still dealing with self-esteem issues and self-confidence issues, and people are going through therapy to work on that stuff, man. Most people like deal with that type of stuff, especially if they're not really working on it. People have childhood insecurities from everything. Like it's a full gamut of reasons why people deal with childhood insecurities. Abuse in the household, abuse from a loved one, abuse toward you, observing abuse toward others. Like there's a wide array of why people feel insecure from schemas formed from childhood. So at the end of the day, why don't we work on ourselves? But at the same time, why don't we realize a lot of motives when it comes to that? And that's where, the Cora Jade situation comes into this, because it's clear that it's still like, even when they were released, that's still something that's in her enough for her to talk about. So that's something that affected her clearly, because she mentioned coworkers, trusted, people that in fans. I mean, fans are going to do what fans are going to do. I mean, again, I always say the IWC is going to IWC. I say that all the time. And it's the IWC as a whole has not proven that wrong. Like the IWC is going to IWC. The IWC has yet to prove it wrong. So they're going to say what they want to say. And at the end of the day, okay, they're going to say what they want to say. But it hits different, though. It hits different when a trusted colleague says something like that in front of a group. It hits different in the workplace when people who you're expecting to have a level of professional respect towards you say that as a little undercut. Clearly, it still affected her, as it should have. And that's the thing that is unfortunate when it comes to how the many ways, man, the many ways. And I do a class every single week about something. And one of the most prevalent patterns that we see in stuff like this is there are thousands of ways for someone to express their level of personal insecurity. Flat out, period. And body shaming is one of them. Because essentially, a lot of people are jealous or envious towards someone and they want to bring them down. That's why a lot of gym people are shamed, because someone wants to bring them down from feeling confident in themselves. So it causes someone, who's an athlete to say, oh man, maybe I am pushing a little bit more. Maybe I am pushing a little bit too much. Maybe I'm getting really wrapped into, physical discipline. Maybe I am, feeling like I'm being too haughty and I'm showing these gym pics. Maybe I am seeming like I'm narcissistic, or I'm seeming like I'm better than you. Now, here's the thing. Here's the crazy thing about that. The person who's posting the pics and doing those things, they could have absolutely zero ill motive when they do that. But then you have a jealous mob or an envious mob coming in and saying something like that, trying to dehumanize that person, because there's a sense of insecurity, there's a sense of jealousy, there's a sense of envy that person has, that they want to shame them in order for them to feel better about themselves, period. And at the end of the day, man, it's really important for people to really focus on that and focus on the why behind why someone is telling them something like that. Why are you telling me that? What's the point? And unfortunately, societally, it's more acceptable for men to do that to women, research shows. than for a woman to do that to a man. There was a psychologist. There's a psychologist by the name of Sarai Shepard. Sarai Shepard, yeah. And Sarai Shepard was talking about how it's more societally prevalent, societally acceptable for men to say that toward women, because women usually they tend to account to bring into account their body image when it comes to their overall identity, especially from a societal standpoint. They look at their body image more as a part of their identity than men does. So it's more susceptible for a woman to be impacted from those type of shameful comments than a man. And so it's more societally acceptable for a man to do that to a woman. And from what we see with the Cora Jade situation, I think it's pretty prevalent that that's true. As a specific case study, that's true. And man, I mean, I've heard of accounts, man, where just men in the workforce just say whatever the heck that they want to women about things, even from an athletic standpoint, even from a standpoint of beautiful thicker women, they being told something. Just again, all these things are just to bring these people down. Now, as someone who is a certified personal trainer myself, or someone who's really, really into fitness, like there's people need to hear some things that they don't want to hear. That doesn't mean just placate to everybody and just tell everybody that everything is going to be okay and you don't have to really work on self-discipline. Like that's the thing. That's really, really important. But at the same time, again, like I said, motive matters. Motive matters. Why are you saying this stuff? What's the point? Do you really care about me enough to want me to change, to want to see me win? Or are you so insecure with yourself that you're trying to bring me down no matter what? If I'm overweight, if I'm skinny, if I'm muscular, whatever shaming you choose to do, you got to look at yourself. You have to self-assess and realize, why am I doing this? And again, you're not stupid. You know why you're doing it. So that's something that you need to sit in. You need to sit with yourself in, period. You need to sit with yourself in that and say, why am I doing what I'm doing? And if it is for the betterment of someone, now again, you can be saying something that's for the betterment of someone and they can perceive it as shaming. Like your intentions can be pure. Like, yeah, man, you picking up some weight. Come on, man, let's go. Let's do something about that, bro. Come on. Let's talk about, have some smart goals about a meal plan. Now that can be offensive because that's the second time you've ever saw them. You know what I mean? So that can be pretty offensive. But at the same time, then you're like, did I step on something? Did I offend you at all? I definitely didn't mean to. That's when you can talk to that person like, oh, bro, my bad, man. I didn't mean to offend you. Like, that's respect, respect. I was direct, I was very direct, but at the same time, and I meant what I said, but at the same time, if there were a few people around. Yeah, I could have said that in private. Yeah, you're right. I could have said that in private. Let's talk about it. You ready? Here for it? But at the same time, you gotta understand and basically get to the point where I'm picking up things that are causing other people to feel shamed, and you're like, okay, you have to really sit in it with yourself and say, no, this was absolutely out of pure motives. And if you're offended by it, let's talk about that. But also let's talk about, the importance of me caring about you enough to say, hey, let's sit down and, have that talk. Here's the thing, man. If there's no solution or there's no sense of support when it comes to comments like that, I mean, like it's really pointless, man. It's really one of the weirdest people one of the weirdest things that people can say to another person is, "Yeah, man, you gaining weight." I mean, like, I'm telling you, man. There was a time where I was a lot heavier than I am, lost a bunch of weight, got really into fitness, man. I've been into fitness for a long time, and because I have major back issues, about 6 years ago, um, like I got to the point where I ballooned, man. I absolutely ballooned, and lost about 60 pounds, uh, and started to get into fitness again, really heavy. But there would be times where I knew that I ballooned. And you don't notice it as much in the moment, but it's a gradual process. And it's like there's either the people who don't say nothing to you or the people who just straight out say, like, "Hey man, you picking up some pounds." And typically when people say that to you, you're like, "Okay, what do you want me to do with that?" Like, what do you want me to do with that comment? That's just a weird, awkward comment to do. Where's your support in something like that? Where's your support in that comment? What's your stake? Like, what's your what your buy-in? What's your stock value in a comment like that? "Hey man, you gaining some weight." Okay. I mean, like, thanks. I mean, what? Sorry. I mean, do you want me to apologize to you, or what exactly do you want me to do with that? And so I think it's important for you, if you are saying something like that to someone, you can be honest. I mean, and when it comes to people who are well respected, who have the ability to have that type of lingo and conversations, which you really should. I mean, there should be people really close in your life that can be honest and be truth tellers and challenge you. And that's the big thing, man. Like, get you a good support group who are motivators, cheerleaders, and challengers that can do all of those things, and that good and well that they really legit mean the absolute best for you. And those people who are motivate you way more than they challenge you, because positive reinforcement statistically is the best way to motivate someone to change, is positive reinforcement. So it's one of those things like, "Oh man, I see you cutting a little bit. Like, you've been hitting the gym." And so guess what? Someone hears that, and that motivates them just like that. Statistics show that. Like, "All right, man, I see you. I see your face getting a little smaller. You've been working out?" And even if you worked out once the entire month, that can motivate you to say, "Oh wow, like someone is noticing something about me that I don't even really notice about myself right now." But at the same time, like, that felt good. That felt really good to hear that from someone that they noticed. And that was awesome to hear. And so that's going to continue to motivate me to keep going. And so that's the type of encouragement. That's the type of comments that people should hear when it comes to that. Not, "Hey man, I see you. You haven't missed any meals." That's another one that people would say. Again, man, when I'm a really big person on, what do you want me to do with this information? What do you want me to do to it? Because I'm not responsible for that. I don't receive it. So I'm not responsible for it. If I received it, I'm responsible for it, at least partially, because I agreed to receive it. But if I don't receive that information, I'm not responsible for it, because it's just not true. Like, it's just not something that I really care about. Even if it is true, it's just like, it's coming from you, and it's coming like out of just a very ill motive. So therefore, nah, man, good to hear that, important to hear that, but nah, man, nah. What do you want me to do with that? Like, in a heartbeat, man, I can make someone feel super awkward with information they give me, because it's like, I'm not detecting a pure motive here. I love to be challenged, but at the end of the day, if it's not coming from a pure motive, nah, man, I'm not going to take it. That's the reason why trolling and IWC and stuff like that. I know sell that stuff all the time because you have to really determine that when it comes to really anything, especially when someone gives you potentially shameful comments. In the internet, I mean, the internet is there was a Yahoo research in 2016, Yahoo study that talks about an enormous amount of percentage of people getting shamed over the internet, man. That's a thing. That's huge, unfortunately, man. But at the end of the day, like I said, you have to detect whether this information should be received from that person. Now, the information can be true, but if you get emotional about it and you don't no sell it, and you just don't make that situation awkward of saying, okay, look, you gave me this information, I'm not receiving it. That makes it awkward. And so that makes them have to be responsible for the information that I gave you. You don't have to receive it. So if someone's shaming you, no sell it. Yes, it's easier said than done. And if it really sticks in your craw, journal it. Go to therapy about it. But at the same time, don't give that person the time of day, man. I tell this when I give consultations to people all the time. I've even told wrestlers. I've had conversations with wrestlers about this, about people shaming them, like over the internet. I'm like, man, look, you are way like, come on, do you know who you are? Like, you lost it for a second. I mean, I know you know who you are, but just for a second, I've been guilty of this too. It's so easy, just for like, oh, I want to just, oh, like I want to just put a dagger in that person because I know I can roast them. But at the same time, it's like, nah, man. Because here's the thing, you're going to end up going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And it's just like, man, I just wasted so much of my time and energy today that I can't get back. So when someone's shaming you, whether it's body or anything, man, you have to really give that back to them, especially if it's internet, man. Internet's internet. From a wrestling standpoint, IWC is going to IWC, like I said all the time. But when it comes to something that's like actual, in person, you have to think about that stuff. Go to a trusted colleague. Like, you believe what he said to me? That was wrong. Keep receipts. Document that stuff, man. I know a lot of people in the wrestling field, they feel like they don't want to say something to somebody because they don't want to risk their job. They don't want to risk their opportunity. Like I know like legendary female wrestlers, they would say that stuff. Like they would tell me that stuff. I pick old school wrestlers' brains all the time, and they would tell me like they would not say certain things to certain people because they don't want to potentially confiscate their spot. And I'm like, man, life's too short for all that, man. That spot ain't worth it. That spot ain't worth your sanity for sure. So think about those things when it comes to shaming for both ends. Like, if you're the person who's shaming others, specifically body shaming others, why though? Like, what's the purpose? Like, go to therapy, man. Get that taken care of. Work on that stuff. Heal yourself from that stuff that you're going through, that you want to pull somebody else down to your level, to your already low EQ and IQ levels by shaming someone. Horrible motive. Again, critiquing is different when it comes to when it comes from a standpoint of, challenging someone, wanting to see someone win. That's a different thing. But when it comes to just simply shaming for someone for shaming's sake, nah, man. That says more about you than it does about them. Even if someone does need to lose weight, like if you're doing it from an impure motive, that says way more about you than it does toward them. And if you're someone who's getting shamed, hey, look, maybe what they're saying is true, but at the same time, hearing it from them, that is one of the things that they don't deserve the time of day for you to react in a certain way because their motives are impure. So those are really, really important parts about shaming, about body shaming. Those are psychological constructs and concepts and also effects is because of that. Those are really important constructs and effects and psychological effects of body shaming. So, best wishes and prayers to Cora Jade. And I see that she's got some dates that she mentioned too. So she's, no surprise that, she's getting some wrestling dates. And so, that's of course not a surprise. So best wishes to her, man. And it sucks that she had to go through that is when it comes to getting body shamed at work. Again, it says more about them than it says about you. So that's something to really focus on when it comes to that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is class for the day. Indeed. All right, y'all. You know what time it is? It is time for the question cast. Let's get those subs up, man. Let's get those subs up. Are you subscribed to the channel yet? If you haven't, why aren't you? Why aren't you? Why aren't you? Sub to the channel, yo. Thank you for all the other subs. Hashtag Ask Doc. If you want your comment on the screen. Hashtag Ask Doc, if you know what I mean. Can we get a pose for the homicidal, genocidal, suicidal, death-defying Sabu? Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. What rounds could I have on a Saturday Night's main event? Also better. What rounds? What do you mean? What rounds could I have? Like what question rounds? Mato. Why hasn't OSU beat Michigan in 1,998 days? You know why OSU hasn't beat Michigan in 1,998 days? Because we have given Michigan just a little consolation prize of like, you know what, you can have your 2,000 days streak of beating us. One that pales in comparison to the fact that we doubled that before the streak happened. One. And two, yeah, you can have your little measly win. Be like us, come up to our level, win national championships. Y'all have won one full since 1948. And that was last year. So between 48 and 2004, y'all split one with Nebraska in 97. And y'all had two full ones in the span of 76 years. Y'all had two full national championships. That is basically a lifespan from someone who's born to someone who's alive, who died at the age of 76. They had an opportunity to see Michigan win when they were born, split it in the middle, and then we'll split it 50 years in almost, and the tail end of their life toward the middle, and then the tail end of their life, they were able to see a national championship. So kudos to Michigan fans with that. Meanwhile, Ohio State fans, we had a national championship this year, by the way. We had a national championship in 2014. We had a national championship in 2002, 70, 68, during the Woody era A's during the Woody Hayes days. So between 48 and 2024, add up the Michigan National Championships, add up the Ohio State National Championships, and there's your answer, Mato. There you go. I don't know how any the People's Wrestling Channel. I don't know how anyone can blame Cora. She's perfection. My eyes were happy looking at her. Well, I'm glad your eyes were happy looking at her. I hope you don't make that too creepy. Michael Pesolano just watched the latest Dark Side of the Ring about Daphne. Very sad. I am eager to see the rest of the episodes. I didn't even watch last week. I told y'all last week I was like 2 weeks out. I've been so busy. I'm a busy dude, man. I'm so busy, y'all. I kid you not, man. I am busy. Yesterday I just graded and revised, graded again, a 248-page dissertation while watching Raw, taking notes, to do a podcast for over an hour afterwards. Just to wake up the next morning, which was this morning, and do a day full of therapy. Just to go to one of my son's recital. Just to come home and spend, a couple hours to do notes and prep for my show, just to do 3 shows. Busy, man, absolutely busy. And so like I'll be wanting to watch stuff and do stuff, man, but I gotta take care of my family, y'all. I gotta take care of my family. So I will catch up. And I will watch that. But I'm backed up. I will catch up. Everyone, make sure you get involved in the after party. It's only $4 a month. Tonight we will be doing predictions for this weekend. I expect you ought to see that your support for Chris. Support the doctor. Support Dr. Chris. Support, man. I appreciated the People's Wrestling Channel. Michael Pesolano, last year surprising Tony Storm in a promo referred to internet body shaming of an opponent. Oh, did she? Yeah, it needs to be exposed, man, for sure. Av, what's up? I don't buy reports of talent being lazy because half of that former talent were champions at one point. Why did they waste time on them if they saw nothing in them? I'm with you there. I agree. I agree with you, Av. Now, here's the thing, man. There's some journalists who gets to the point of they're just saying stuff just to say it. But at the same time, man, it's interesting, man. When if someone completely just debunks a report, if someone just debunks the report truthfully, like this is absolute, you just made this up. Now, some reporters, they've gotten to the point that they've earned enough cachet and their history of reporting that they can just say something that's just kind of speculative and it's reported. I have not earned that those stripes yet. I don't desire to. I always say this. I've said this many, many times before, man. I'm very, very serious about the accuracy of my reporting. And even with it's sad because if you check my record, I have a very, very impressive win-loss record. That L was the Drew report for sure. It was a big fat L. But at the same time, man, that's what I heard. That's what I was received backstage. That's what people were told backstage. Backstage, people were under the impression that Drew was going to win. So that's what I reported. But I also reported other backstage stuff that was spot on. And so you have to think about that stuff, man. And so I am so serious. I have the ability. I was having a conversation about this before with someone in the industry. Man, I could screenshot every single conversation that I had about all of my reports. I absolutely can do that. But I've said I want to protect my reports to the point where that it's no longer, when it start no longer becoming advantageous for the both of us, then I'm like, let me reconsider some stuff. But at the same time, it's like, man, I can really show you all of that stuff. But I have never, and I have never, I just don't, I just think it's stupid. I just don't even like the idea. Why in the world would someone make something up? I don't make something up. And so if this report of being lazy is being made up, why though? Like, again, I understand that there's just speculation. You've developed so much cachet that you just or speculative based on not even hearing it from anybody. But hey, maybe you did hear from someone. People just get different reports, man. Maybe you heard it from someone backstage and he said it. Okay. I remember when I started to really get in the scene, and there were people who started to like bash other reporters on my Twitter, like, "Yeah, you're so accurate, you're spot on, you're much better than such and such." I'm like, nah, man, I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't sit around and bash other. Nah, man, nah. I'm not doing that. Now, if someone is developing a reputation of just continuing to make stuff up, and there's actual wrestlers that we have seen that there's actual wrestlers that actually debunked that and said that was, that violates journalistic integrity. I mean, that is a bigger thing. But hey, man, people have different sources. There's a lot of different sources within WWE. I'm blessed to have a chunk of those sources, and I know about others with others. I'll just say that much. But at the same time, I can't speak for everybody because I don't know. I don't know that this person told this person. I don't know that. I don't know. So I can't debunk it until somebody said, like, if a wrestler, and here's the thing, sometimes wrestlers don't want to get stuff out. So they're going to say something. So it's just like, it's not a flex to try to say something about a reporter that is going to earn some Twitter cred. I mean, like that doesn't do anything. But this report here specifically, it is hard to believe. I will agree with you, Av, on that. It is a report that's hard to believe, and that reporter has been debunked by a lot of wrestlers lately. So based on, but interesting enough, that person's report still gets reported by dirt sheets, and I got a big. It was a big one. It was wrong, but again, I didn't make it up. That's what I was told, and it is what it is, man. So ultimately, this whole industry of reporting and stuff like that, it's quite interesting, man. It's quite interesting, and like, because of my calendar, because of my schedule, I don't live on Twitter. Like, I saw myself, like, last year. It was it became it became a job, like, that I wasn't getting paid for to do that. Now I'm getting paid to report, but I wasn't getting paid to do that. Now I was willing to do that to earn my stripes to be able to get paid, which was successful because that's happening now. But I saw myself, like, answering questions and, like, texting people and digging, and I'm like, nah, man, I'm busy. Like, I don't have the time to do that because I wanted to be so accurate, I would text and double and triple check and all that stuff. And I was like, man, I don't even have the time to give for this. And and this is consuming the little bit of time that I don't have. I'm using it now on this, and I would get all types of messages. What about this? This person, who's this person doing? Where's this person? When's this person coming back? And I'll be like, let's find out. Let's find out. Let's find out. Let's build some credibility here as a reporter. And I'm like, nah, man, I can't do that. I can't do it. Actually, before the debacle, the incorrect report from what I was told, like I had many people saying, where you been, man? You know, we went to, I'm like, I've been busy. I can't do it. I can't do it. So the reporting stuff as a whole is just a really, really interesting world that I've had a lot of conversations lately about to people about this industry. And yeah, man, if I gave away, that might be a Patreon thing. I've discussed it. I've considered that. If I gave away the insider stuff, like it would be mind blowing. And I've thought about a couple of things when it came to that. So interesting. Join the Patreon. Chris works very hard for you all. Multiple shows a week despite having bad back pain. So you all to show your support. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Elvis, who should be the one to take the title off Jey Uso and why? Sammy possibly. Sami Zayn, no. Absolutely not. No. I would say my prediction is Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. That would be my prediction. Would you do a class on micromanaging at a workplace? That's interesting. Micromanaging at work. That's interesting. I'll keep that on my. I'll keep that in mind. Elvis, could you give us a hint on you? You keep asking me this question, Elvis. Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens, Indianapolis Colts, Houston Texans, or Miami Dolphins. How do you know it's one of those? How do you know it's not? Zubair, future class on the urge of wrestlers wanting pops for risky spots and moves and attempts for people to appeal people like Meltzer. I don't even think it's really appealing people. It may be because of the star system. Yeah, I think you may got a point there because of the star system. Yep. Why do they do that? Yeah, I mean it's definitely a dopamine rush, and I think that's it's definitely worth taking more time to talk about in depth. Yeah, I agree. I'm with you. And plus, you're a patron, so you get first dibs, anyways. Remember the Mickey Danimo? What's up? Remember the Mickey James versus Lake Cool storyline? Do you think that was WWE's underlying message of body shaming towards Mickey James? Now, that was the discussion. I mean, that was the talk of the town, that was their way of body shaming Mickey James. So she may have came out in interviews and said something about that. I'm not sure. She probably I was going to say she probably won't say it now because of LFG, but she's not on LFG anymore. But her husband is a pretty prominent figure in there, so I'm pretty sure she won't say too much. So I would be interested in knowing that, though. Like, that was rumored to be the case, but was that actually the case? Like, do people really think that she, like, do we know for a fact that that was an underlying way of shaming her, body shaming her? I wonder if this is why she got surgery. So sad, man. You know, that's an interesting point, man. Very interesting point there, Av. Zubair, do you agree it's insanity fans blame a crowd to suck for non-smarky or dead when a show sucks? Would you agree they're at fault for influencing towns to chant and reenact their behavior? Fans blame a crowd to suck for non-smarky or dead. It's insanity. Fans blame a crowd to suck for non-smarky or dead when a show sucks. Well, I mean, you know, the at the end of the day, the smarks are going to defend to the death why pro wrestling is cool. So, I mean, they're going to. I mean, you know, when it comes to insanity, it's like there's a coined Einstein definition of insanity is doing the same thing, expecting different results. But when it comes to clinical insanity, it's not the same. But from a quoted or attributed Einstein version of insanity, people are going to do what they're going to do when it comes to pro wrestling, man. And people are going to defend to their blue in the face. They're going to defend to the death that pro wrestling is amazing and everything's cooking. It's like the pro wrestling term. That's my cooking dance. Everything's cooking. Cooking. Ooh, that match cooked. It cooked. Beto, which wrestler probably was the most messed up in the head and needed therapy? Ooh wee, man. Where do I start? There's so many. Was or is. There's a lot, man. There's a lot. As far as I know, or who I can just talk about, I'm not going to say people who have passed away. Although I'm not really a big advocate of like you can't say anything about them since they passed away. But if it's fresh, I do think that there's some respect that comes with that. Just let this process go. You know what I mean? So I think that you can read between the lines. But I will say this: when it comes to different wrestlers, you can see based on their public expressions, public presentation, that and even discussions of what we see in like documentaries, man, the Dark Side episodes. I mean, that's a great example of people who just went through a lot, man. I would have loved for them to come in my office for us to talk. James, storyline wise, how does Dom get all these girls into him? To me, he acts like a 5-year-old who loves chicken nuggets and can't tell what time difference. It makes no sense. I did not get the chicken nugget reference. I did not get that reference. I was like, huh? What is this? I don't understand that. Danimal, when he had the box of chicken nuggets, I didn't. Maybe that was a promo that I missed. I didn't remember that. I think if a person is happy in their body, then they should have the right to be proud of it. No one should body shame another person. You're right. No one should body shame another person. But I do think that people, it's okay. Their fitness levels, their spiritual health levels, their mental health levels, their physical health levels. It's okay to be challenged about that. It's okay to, for people to keep others accountable about that. But when it comes to the point of shaming, like, why? What's the point? Zubair, currently at the gym to finish up on those gains, but notice pain on wrist when curling weight. I usually can lift. Any idea why I never had this problem while curling? Might want to try stretching, man. Might have pulled something and you don't have a lot of strength when it's curling. I'm wondering is that weight different from what you usually do? Did you drink a lot of water? There's a lot of reasons why that could be happening. Heel business in the building. What's up, my man? Av, did you see the video? Triple H getting mad that Drew was the guy. I did see that. That information I was tagged in a video that said, see, I was right. There was discussions that Drew was the guy. It spread, and Triple H got mad at it. So, I mean, I told you it was discussed backstage. I told you. So, wasn't from left field, was it? Mato, all the revealing female outfits in WWE too much. I focus on the cheeks more than matches at times, especially Stephanie Vaquer. You know, it depends, man. Like, are they wanting to just really show their bodies and show their work and show their athleticism, or is it really for sex appeal? What are their motives? That would be an interesting conversation to have with them. You know, so yep. Michael, big day this week in NFL owners meeting, voting on end of tush push. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that at ESPN today, actually. And changes to playoff settings. Seeding division winners with a 9-8 record will get a home game when the second place team is 13-4. And I think that that's fair, especially like when you had the Jacksonville Jaguars, who had a losing record, and they got a first place for the AFC South a couple of years ago when Tennessee lost 7 straight games, ladies and gentlemen. 7 straight games. They lost 7 straight games. I think that that's fair. The tush push is stupid to me, honestly. There's another thing that they're doing was being able to have NFL players play on the 2028 Olympics for flag football, which I'm an advocate of that. I think that's really cool. But the tush push, here's the deal. I mean, you're going to have 11 players and 11 players, man. I mean, I was having this conversation with my barber today, and I was like, why is this even a thing? Why is this even a conversation? Why don't you have the first vote be for defenses to be better? I mean, at the end of the day, the tush push is because the defense allowed the offense to get to a goal line position. Like, let's not forget that. You don't just get handed a position in the goal line. It just doesn't happen. Your defense wasn't good enough in that series to stop the offense from reaching the goal line. So they want to do the tush push to get them in the end zone. How about we kind of scale that back and realize that the defense wasn't good enough to not allow them to get to the goal line. So that's the bigger issue instead of the tush push. We just priorities with these incentives and with these voting, topics. Like, what? Domless chicken tenders. So that's what it was. I still don't understand. I don't understand. I don't get the point there. I don't get the reference. Av, are you going to stick around as a fan with the Titans getting Cam Ward? No, I'm done. I am done. I'm really happy that Cam Ward is in Tennessee right now. Kudos to him, but I am done. I am no longer a Tennessee Titans fan. I stuck around when other people came. I stuck around when Marcus Mariota became a Tennessee Titans quarterback, and the dude won the Heisman. Still bombed. Av, I think the ban on the tush push is there. Too many injuries from it. Now, that can be defended. Now, that when it comes to that can be defended. But at the same time, you're still going to get to the point where you're going to do a goal line stance. You're going to do a goal line formation, and you're still going to go all in, heads in. Everybody's coming in. And so at the end of the day, there's still going to be injuries coming from that goal line stand. So at the end of the day, man, you've got someone just kind of helping with it, and I just think it's a weak argument, honestly, personally. Beto, check out what AJ Brown said about some of his teammates and their addiction to lust and adult activity. That's interesting. I shall. That'll be that'll be interesting to check out and see what AJ Brown said about that. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, what a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful class. Appreciate the consistent love here on the Pancakes and Power Slam show, man. For sure. Again, hashtag AskDoc to get your comment on the screen. Appreciate every single person coming on the show. As always, man, you're awesome. We're going to spend a little bit of time doing some predictions and answering some questions. This was a great show, man. Great show. I hope you guys enjoyed the class of the psychological effects of body shaming. Here's the thing, man. I'm actually thinking about writing a book because these are all of my classes. I realized when I store I have a file and I store my classes. All of this front and back, class. I need to do something with this, man. I do. I need to do something with this for sure. I need to. So, book. I got a couple book topics, anyways, but I gotta do something about that, man. And so yeah, pray for me as I put my ideas together. I've got a big old huge packet for sure. Huge information here to write a book. So I got to figure that out, man. So keep me in prayer. We are heading out, y'all. It's been wonderful. I appreciate it. If you haven't subbed to YouTube, thanks for all the prayers. I appreciate my back. It was rough for me today, man. My back. I have really, really bad back issues. I'll keep y'all posted. I'll keep my thank you. That's good. I'll keep y'all posted. I give Patreon updates. I give my Patreon members updates first because they spend the time to put their money where their mouth is, and so I'll give them updates first about stuff. And so I'll eventually give y'all updates about things, even news and stuff like that too. But I'll talk to our Patreons tonight about my back stuff if necessary, and give some updates. And so I appreciate that. Patreon.com/pancakes and power slams. Patreon.com/pancakes and power slams. If you haven't subscribed to YouTube yet, do it. Do that. I will really appreciate it because, man, I put a lot of work into that, as Ricky said. I appreciate the love. All right, y'all, I'm heading out, man. Time to go to the Patreon, go with my peeps and talk some stuff, some predictions, some Q&A and all that fun jazz, some updates, man. And so until next week, enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless, and always remember, I do it for you. Have a good night, everybody. So long.